Hey guys, we'll sit here for a few minutes, see if anybody comes on. Um, we are going to talk about the lousy pay per view this weekend and Tony Weeks coming out and saying that the one fighter had been diagnosed, he's had brain damage, he had an aneurysm that could have been burst and killed him, and that's why he stopped the fight. I think Golden Boy Promotions owes everyone a pay per view refund. Uh, they are going to be sued, just to let you know. Golden Boy will be facing a class action lawsuit, and this skating over this stuff is not going to fly this time. The FBI is looking into them. The Nevada Bureau of Investigation is looking into this. I have been totally assured that this is not going to be swept under the rug. So, hope I'm not being lied to about this. See, instead of uh, not doing anything and just talking about it, I chose this time to do something. I chose to do something. And I hope you do too. I would call the Nevada Bureau of Investigation. I don't know if I'd bother to call the Nevada Athletic Commission because they are riddled with corruption and mobsters. Uh, but I would call the Bureau of Investigation, and I'm going to tell you why here in a second. And this should affect you deeply. And the Nevada Bureau of Investigation and the FBI, you need to call the local office in Las Vegas. If you can't get through to them, there should be a office number you'd be able to find somewhere and call in Reno, Nevada. Here's why. This wasn't a judging mechanism gone wrong. This wasn't the stupidness, little corruption in boxing. Uh, they almost killed a guy, and Robert Garcia's team was fully complacent in it. Uh, Golden Boy was fully complacent in it. Lawson's team, whom he is the one who could have got killed and murdered in that ring, is complacent in it. And Lawson himself is complacent in it. And I'll tell you why. Ali pulled this shit 35 years ago, running around and getting opinions and getting opinions. You see how that ended up for that man. That man lived the last 25, 30 years of his life saying, I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have done that. They are going to take boxing from you, and it's going to be no more if this sport is not cleaned up. Point blank, period, end of that. That is going to happen. I worked with Roy Jones Jr. Proud my kid in an online venue goes to the same school his kids went to. Uh, was happy to donate and help in every way I could to keep Olympics in boxing, keep boxing in Olympics. Uh, and now I've got a sign sitting here that says he will not represent the U.S. as long as they back transgender men fighting women, and God bless him for that. When things like that happens, I know I've raised him correctly. Uh, hey, Charleston, glad you're here. And but this thing, if it, for people that don't know about it, I just found out about it this morning and found out that this was going on yesterday, and we've been suffering from some sinus infections around here. But uh, The Lawson guy went to, and the only reason why we know this is the referee, uh, Tony Weeks, was facing backlash that he stopped the fight because uh, Ortiz hit the kid a couple of times and they stopped. Weeks stopped the fight. He said, "Well, if you all knew what I knew, and uh, they did 3 tests on him, so they kept doing tests. That's what they do in boxing. For those of you who may not know, they'll run a test, and if you got something wrong with you, they'll go to another guy and run a test, or they'll run it again with the same doctor. And if it comes back the same, they'll just go to another doctor and they'll pay somebody, and magically a test will come back. And the test may not come back that way, but the doctor will forge documents. That's what happened in this case. And how do I know? Because it's happened in thousands before this case. And we would, if Tony Weeks, that referee, and that Ortiz Lawson fight had not put up a Twitter post defending his actions of why he stopped that fight so early, we would never know. I knew something was wrong right off, but I didn't know it was that deep. But the bottom line to this is all these race hustlers out here, all you guys that will get up and go crazy and freak out and burn towns down on the behalf of a black drug addict who threatened to cut the baby out of a black woman, and these other thugs you'll go and you'll run and you'll burn a city down for. Here you got a black fighter trying to survive, and they almost killed him. A group of Latinos almost killed him, and you don't stand up and you don't do a thing. And I don't like that. That may not, and what I said may not be 100 the truth here, but it's my perspective of it. And why? Because that's the perception and what reeks out of everything that it looks like. And for the first time in years, we've got clear intent here. They always go to that intent thing, and that's why they don't charge nobody. Well, we don't know what the intent was. Well, we know here. And at minimum, Golden Boy needs to reimburse the pay-per-view company, who in turn needs to reimburse everybody that got a pay-per-view from them. And that's coming. People will be coming forward. There will be a class action lawsuit in this thing. It's going to come. It's going to happen. I look on here, and no offense to anybody, I don't mean it. Well, yeah, I do mean offense to it. I do mean offense to it. It's offenseful as hell that I go over here this morning. I look at these black boxing channels, news channels. They got their little feeds going on. They get 3,000, 10,000 people on a live stream. I'm lucky if we got one, because I'm telling people what most people don't want to hear, which is the truth. But I go over and I start scanning some of these black channels, and not one person. They're all over the referee for stopping the fight. It still has not dawned on them yet that this black fighter needed the money, and they helped and assisted this black fighter and put this black fighter in the ring with someone they say that, since he's had 20 knockouts, is one of the hardest hitters pound for pound in boxing today. Now, I want to tell you all, I know that's bullshit. This Ortiz ain't what Golden Boy and everybody else and all the fans are saying he is. He's not that. He's not all that. This kid's had 20 fights. He's no more really got it together no more than Ryan Garcia had it together off of that hype. And I like Ortiz and I like Ryan Garcia. I like these guys. Uh, but are they these elite guys? No, they do. You don't have 20 fights and then you all of a sudden you're the elite guy on the block. It's just not how boxing works. It just doesn't work that way. Uh, Fans are being BS'd from one end of the spectrum to the other. A guy wins a fight. He's lost two fights. Oh my gosh, this guy's trash. This guy's no good. He's it. He's finished. And then he wins a fight, and everybody's on that bandwagon, just like that. Unable to even understand the sport. And why would a fella be unable to understand the sport? Because they're getting all the news in online venues by people who don't even understand the sport themselves and what's going on or what transpires in this sport. So uh, here's the way I look at this, and I don't give a damn. You see how white my skin is? Look at that. Look at that real good. Let me tell you the truth. Let this white guy tell everybody the truth, whether you see this now or you see it 3 months from now or 3 years from now, because I will not take this video down. They almost killed a nigger the other day with little thought whatsoever to it. And nobody's talking about that. Not a soul. Little thought to it whatsoever. And I don't like that. Let me talk about something else too. If you're a white guy, it is great and okay to pull for white fighters. If you are a black guy, it is great and okay to pull for black fighters. If you are a Latino, it's okay. Chinaman, it's okay. That's a great thing to do. There's no racism there. You pick who you like, and generally people pick somebody that's closer to who they are than somebody who's further away from who they are. Uh, so it's really not racist to be pulling for a certain group of people. Now I don't do that. That's just me. But I'll tell you who I do pull for. First off, going through it, having my son go through it, having other boys that I train going through it, I understand a little bit about this mess. Having been a friend of uh, Ernie Shavers, having known Mike Tyson when he was 14 going into 15 years old, and being around some of these people, having been trained by former, while he was sitting WBA heavyweight champion of the world, Big John Tate's people, Ace Miller and company, being trained by the same people that was training the sitting heavyweight champion of the world right now. One thing I can tell you that I pull for first, and that's the fighters. And the secondary thing that I would pull for is my country. And everybody should do that. If you're a Brit, you should be elated that you have the heavyweight champion of the world today. You should be elated. You should be happy about that. What the hell is wrong with that? But first, you should pull for the sport and the fighting and the guys that are in there doing it. It's an awful dangerous sport. It's dangerous as hell. So my question is, Tony Weeks, the referee, he puts the thing out. Well, I stopped it because as soon as he got hit, he looked a certain way, and I seen the 3 brain scans, and I was convinced that he did have the brain aneurysm because the 2 first tests said that he did, and then 1 test said that he didn't. So I cautioned with those. Why in the hell were you not out there before the fight? You know, when they're doing introductions and the guys got the mic, here's what I would have done. But see, ain't nobody like me. Doesn't seem like today. I would have got on the mic and I would have said, I'm not going to referee this fight. I just want everybody to know this kid over here is Uh, got 2 tests back that he's got an aneurysm that can burst and kill him at any moment. Some Inks didn't do nothing heroically here. And how boxing works is that Robert Garcia, that team knew that. They knew everything that was going on with this. That's why Robert Garcia is sitting there looking to the floor, see. He knew what was going on. These dumb sons of bitches should have known that the least little crack in the armor and all this was going to come out. They knew good and well Ortiz was going to go in there and this fight was going to be stopped quickly because that other guy was sick. They sold us a bad bill of goods, put another guy's life at risk. And I don't want to hear, oh, well, Lawson needed it because he needed one more payday. Really? Really? That's the excuse here? Go talk to, well, you can't go talk to Muhammad Ali. He's dead. Go talk to him about that. Talk to my friend Ernie Shavers about that. Oh, well, you can't because he passed away a few years ago. See, everybody you can talk to is dead. So we need to be really protectful of these guys. I tell everybody every day, we've got people in the, higher up in the front office in Mexico City, in the WBC, contacting Joe, looking at him, contacting us. Good things they say. I say, that's fine, that's dandy. Former world heavyweight champions, Golden Boy, Mayweather, Heyman, the other guy, the Jewish guy in the U.S., I can't think of his name right now. Always buttering up. Well, if this kid makes it, we'll be right there. They ain't going to be nowhere. We don't need you dirty, stinking, rotten promoters that are doing the wrong thing. We don't need you. You're going to find out. We're going to change this thing if it's even there when Joe's ready. You got 5 more years. If the sport is even still there, Joe's going to change this game. You might not be able to see it. I see it all day long. I live around it 24 hours a day. I live around all these Latino boxers being scared to death to even spar Joe Hart. I've lived around going from gym to gym to gym to gym and him knocking the biggest, best guy they got slapped the hell out. We live that here, see. See, I truly see what's going on in here, but I don't expect anyone else to. And I wouldn't hold nobody to a fault at all with that. At all with that. I really wouldn't. I just wouldn't. Because, you really got to be around something to truly believe it. You got to be there. And I understand how that is, but I'll tell you something. Joe don't need any of them. They need Joe. Robert Garcia, Joe will never, ever, in a moment, a fleeting moment in time, ever need you, Golden Boy, that rotten to the core thing you guys got going, all the while portraying all these knight in shining armors, Spanish knights defending Christendom that everybody else is seeing. No, you need him. Bernard Hopkins, he got angry. He got angry during an interview because he knew what was going on before it went on too. Where was his ass before it happened? Where was his ass before a probable murder could have took place, where was his black ass? Where were you, Bernard? Bill Haney, where were you at? You running around there promoting your son and dancing. You knew all this shit was going on with this other black fighter, Lawson. Bill, you knew all this was going on. You knew all about it. You and Devin, your son, knew about it. What were y'all voicing for a black fighter? What was coming out of any of your mouths? What was going on with you guys? Now you wanted to sit and have a pretend shoving match with Bernard Hopkins, cause a scene, draw attention to your damn selves. Because the bottom line is, y'all didn't care about that nigger over there either. Your own skin. So you got to pardon a lot of people for getting upset for listening to all this racial junk when nobody's caring. White ain't caring for white. Black ain't caring for black. Latino ain't caring for Latino. Let's talk about that for a change. Out here running around burning cities down for a drug addict that was threatened to cut a baby out of a black woman and making him a hero. Why ain't you burning something down, or at least yelling for this black guy that got put up as a sacrificial lamb? For this Ortiz guy who's Garcia's next claim to fame going on there. Like I'm saying, they all knew what was going on. Yes, sir, we need to have each other's backs. And we're not doing a good job of that, unfortunately. We have to have each other's backs. How about decent people at least having the decency to stand up and protect even other decent people? And it just seems like we're failing at that. I'm an old man. I don't have people listening to me. I don't have ES News hunting me down and running me down. I don't have all these online internet channels. Come on here and talk about this. I'm uninteresting. I'm an old man. Don't have much interesting going on about me. Tell you one fundamental truth. If you're a black guy, you just go out and start a boxing channel and you're going to get thousands of people, unless you're a black channel, a black guy starting a boxing channel that is telling fundamental truths at every turn. I got a good friend. I would consider him my online good friend. I haven't been around him in person, but I know we're going to meet. I know our paths are going to cross. Former professional fighter that has a boxing channel. And we converse back and forth. We build each other up, too. We don't tear each other down. He's a little younger than me, former professional boxer. He don't have many subscribers going to see him either, because nobody wants to hear the truth. So it ain't a black or white thing. See, it's a truth thing. The guys will on these channels will run around here, and in general, there are so many people that they are so addicted to boxing that they get their money up and they'll go to these different venues. They'll work and go to 3, 4, 5 venues in their country a year. They love it. It's their thing. It's their sport, but they ain't seeing none of the realness going on with it. So I hope that the FBI crawls all open up and down on Robert Garcia, Ortiz, even Lawson, the fighter that could have got killed, his team, the Nevada Athletic Commission, the referee, and I'm so into the boxing of today. I don't know. I think Ortiz now he's holding an interim belt with 20 fights. Something unheard of in my day. You had 20 fights, you were still a baby. And people going 50, 55 fights before they'd get a title shot. No shit. 50, 55 fights. No wonder boxing sucks now. Don't nobody have the experience in the game. Well, he's got 30 fights. He's defended the World Heavyweight Championship 4 times. No wonder that boxing's going downhill. And we ain't seeing a good product. Ain't nobody hanging around long enough to even gain any experience in it. The trainers suck. Boxers suck. And y'all gonna see something moving slowly. We're moving as slow as a snail. And if Joe continues this, he's gonna wreak havoc on the weight division, which I believe is gonna be heavyweight. But whatever division it is, he's heavyweight now. He's 15, 190 pounds. He's heavyweight now in the amateurs. He's going to come rolling through. And everybody else is looking at, everybody that's a sitting champion in the division, you're all going to get your faces bashed in. It's going to be a new ball game. You sitting champions right now are playing catch-up ball to a 15-year-old boy, and you don't even know it yet because you can't see what's going on around you, and because even the fighters, are not caring. Every fighter with a belt should be online today expressing their views that this guy who happened to be black could have been murdered the other night in the ring. And really, to me, it didn't look like Virgil was going all in on him like he could have. He was kind of back. As soon as he got him in, he wasn't like just going to continue to go pummeling on him. If you look, he was hitting the guy in the arms, and he was choosing to do that. He wasn't going straight to his face. Go back and look at that. I know how this sport works. He knew it too. Both fighters knew what was going on with the one fighter. Both team managers and team trainers knew what was going on with both the fighters. The promotion company knew what was going on. And they owe everybody a refund for that. That's so law breaking. That falls under all these Mail Act crimes, where they get all these mobsters. And that's what needs to happen to these guys. It's exactly what needs to happen to these guys. I'm sorry, guys. I'm venting. I'm very upset over this thing. If this is not put in check, if heads don't roll, really, this gets to intent of an attempted murder. So if this is left to stand, boxing won't be standing in 5 years. It just simply won't. They got to do something with the boxing in the United States. They just got to do something. And not letting the fighters fight is not the way to go. They need to be in there fighting, but you need 2 healthy people in there. These judges need to be way more independent. This whining and dining of these referees and these things, it's got to stop. They should all be kept away from each other. no different than a jury is kept away from the two teams in the courtroom, the prosecutor and the defendant. They keep them away, and they do that for a reason. Uh, and even that doesn't work great as if you look at the justice system. But if at least you keep these people separated and not keep a training or management company eating and drinking and buying hotel rooms for referees and judges and things like that that are going on. And the organizations that have these belts are even worse than these promoters and and uh, the managers that have the camps are. They're even way worse. And we need to get some goodness back in uh, boxing. And yeah, I'm just letting that out of my heart. And I'll tell you, there's nothing like going and visiting somebody in a nursing home and seeing that they're getting no further while they're awake during the day than somebody come in and wipe drool off the side of their chin while they're laying in a bed, uh, getting fed through a feeding tube because all and it happened because parasites sucked the life's blood out of them and made a lot of money and just turned their backs on them. So this notion that nice guys are in boxing is a fallacy. These guys aren't nice. Everybody's looking out for their own interests. They're looking out for themselves. And I guess all sports is like that. I got a cousin and an uncle that actually played Major League Baseball in the major leagues. And we come from a sporting family. Uh, and there's a lot of cockiness. There's a lot of self confidence going into professional athletes of all venues. But boxing takes the cake in the non-caring department, and this should be the sport where care for fellow participants and fellow members in that familial body should be together. So much love to everybody. Please, if anybody watches the video and they don't know about this situation, I'd go over to ES News. That Ellie, I forget what his last name is, but Ellie Setback's what he calls himself. Go look over there. We love you guys too. I really mean that. But go look over there and see. And he's got more of a, he's done it in a more of a news way, and just see how this transpired because it's just sickening. And maybe I don't get it out as in a good of a way, but something's got to be done about this one. So blessings to everybody and much love to you all. And we will see you soon. Thank you so, so much.